Somewhere stored in my parents' house is a photo of me sitting in my dad's lap at the age of 3 in the living room of our old house, holding a Duke Xbox controller that barely fit in my hands. My dad and I both have been huge gamers for nearly 3 decades now, and we love the way games make us feel. My dad prefers racing sims like iRacing, Assetto Corsa, Grid, and a bunch of others, but I've always had a preference for the FPS genre. It was the combat that was so engaging, no matter what the title I was playing. Medal of Honor, Battlefield, Team Fortress 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2. All of these games were monumental in my childhood, and I have many memories to take from them all. But one game stuck out and had me enamored. That photo of me sitting in my dad's lap had one small detail that changed my brain chemistry for the rest of my life. When I looked closer at the photo, you can see a sliver of the screen, and that is no doubt an image of Combat Evolved's second mission, Halo. Halo contains this energy and artistic style that dumbfounded the 3-year-old version of me and still captures that same essence for the 23-year-old me. Something about the environments, the sounds, the music, all had an effect on me that caused me to feel all different emotions. I felt a sense of tranquility when Chief stands on the ring for the first time, looking at that gorgeous, low poly Pacific Northwestern environment. I felt dread as he is held by the Gravemind's tendrils, thinking he may not make it out alive. I felt emptiness as I see Chief enter the cryopod and say his infamous line,
Wake me when you need me.
Oh, God!
These emotions I felt were real and embedded deep into my core. It allowed me to acknowledge how a story can impact me and led me to continue playing this franchise for nearly 20 years. When I was young, I wasn't even grasping any of the deeper concepts and lore of Halo. Hell, I barely even knew Master Chief's name. Everything I witnessed in-game was just generating wonder within me. It was as simple as bright colors and pretty lights at such a young age, but the shapes and the art style were playing a part in that feeling of joy I felt when playing. During my kindergarten years, I had just moved to Michigan from California. I was new to this school district in this state, so things were abnormal for me. I remember one day, during a sort of break time in class, there was a box of these rectangles and cubes with hundreds of pegs emitting from them. You could connect these pegs together to make structures and other shapes. I've totally forgotten what those things are called, but comment if you know what I'm talking about. I remember seeing another young boy grabbing pieces from the box of shapes and building something that looked exactly like the Spirit from Halo CE. So I asked, "Is that from Halo?" The other boy said, "Yeah, it's my favorite ship." That other boy turned out to be my closest childhood friend, whom I still talk to this day. That same friend and I had many nights staying up way too late playing Halo Reach Infected, Team SWAT, replaying the old campaigns of other titles in co-op, and many more memories. Halo was a connecting point for me when I was out of my comfort zone. It was like a universal language spoken all across the country. And while I was never old enough to attend a midnight release or truly understand the hype of a new title releasing, I remember the luxury of my dad owning a LAN center and playing Halo there. For those of you who don't know, a LAN center is a business where you can basically pay an hourly rate to play video games on all of the consoles or PCs you'd like. Dreamland, my dad's store, was in a lower income area of where I lived. He always provided affordable pricing to everyone who came in, with the best deal being $20 for 12 hours of play at the store, meaning you could pay $20 to stay in at this business and just enjoy playing whatever games are brand new on the market if you couldn't afford a console, PC, or just the game title itself. It was a rewarding feeling when I started working there, or at least helping out, and made me glad that I could help others enjoy the same things I do without the cost. Halo was a staple in the store, especially for birthday parties. It wasn't unusual to host birthday parties at Dreamland, and kids just love video games, so it's natural. Every time a party would come in, we would place every copy of Halo we had into every Xbox in the store, knowing full well that these kids wanted to run 4v4 Valhalla matches. It was unique being there during these parties because oftentimes I went to school with everyone there. I wasn't invited to their birthday, but they made me feel welcome anyways. It stopped being work and was more like a community I felt a part of and recognized for being there. High school started, and I was still hanging out with my buddy at his house, staying up late playing Halo Reach. Halo 4 had released, and at this time, we had a solid friend group who played COD Zombies, Halo, and Airsoft together, like most young boys did. Halo 4 didn't pique many of our interests, so we just continued playing the classics. Most of us had also shifted to PC gaming around this time as well, so we were growing a bit more detached from the series. As time passed, Halo 5 released, and we all recognized that 343 had made a shift from the original Bungie feeling of the game, which made us disinterested in the series. I've never been against a game series shifting its identity, but this has felt too far gone for all of us. As we carried on through high school, some of us grew apart. Halo wasn't the game it was, and since we were on PC, we had no reason to keep playing old console games. The light that Halo had was fading away for us. College began with the release of Halo Infinite, which I quickly jumped to play. The marketing was solid, the game looked fresh and fun, and it was a great time sink for me to pour my endless hours of free time into. I had made some friends on campus who were also diehard Halo fans, and we would all queue up matches together. I got into the competitive mode pretty deep and peaked in Onyx for a month or two. The campaign was unique and felt like a return to form in some ways, which had me spending many hours replaying it on each difficulty, and even a 100% completion lasso run. This felt like a turning point in the series for me until it began to get a bit repetitive. This was the first Halo to experiment with live service game management, and they didn't produce results very well. Very few maps and game modes on release, a slim weapon pool, mostly useless gadgets. None of it was being updated, and there were fewer and fewer reasons to play the game. I haven't touched Halo Infinite since then. I still had an itch to play my favorite series though. I knew I wanted to play, but the Master Chief Collection apparently had issues. I looked into some Reddit posts and people were saying that they fixed the MCC. I went ahead, bit the bullet right around the time Halo 2 Anniversary was added to the collection, and was not let down at all. The same classic Halo experience ported to the PC with full functioning multiplayer from all the Bungie titles. Forge support, theater mode, a massive modding community, and functionality with the Steam Workshop showed me that Halo isn't dead, it's just rebuilding. The community brought me back with their creativity in game modes, and even the always accessible battle passes they had to customize Spartans, elites, visors, weapons, vehicles, and player icons were entertaining. Being able to play the campaigns again while also completing challenges was a fun and rewarding feeling that made me realize that the developers actually did care. Shareholders stopped caring about the MCC and focused on Infinite, which granted the MCC team the ability to make better decisions to revitalize the experience for their player base. To this day, I still hop on the MCC to relive those glory days of seeing Halo for the first time. I've spent a quarter of my life loving this series, which granted is not a long time, but it has been on my mind for as long as I can remember. Even now, I have a tattoo of the ODST superintendent on my arm. This series gave me so much, and I just hope that this intense care I have for the franchise gets carried on to the next titles. I recognize not a ton of people have faith that Halo can ever truly come back, but I'm choosing to have hope. I spoke a lot about the emotion that Halo was able to evoke from me, and while I mentioned the creative direction and art styles that the game's developed, there's one thing that truly drove my sentiments towards the game: the music. Marty O'Donnell is a savant, a genius, or any word you can use to describe someone who has reached the peak in their art. As a previous kid in band for 7 years, I find an intense appreciation for the composition of Halo's soundtracks. Marty was able to take these motifs and themes and use them as a canvas to share a story with us, no words included. You can feel the tone settle in during each track, whether it be somber, heroic, ominous, or even ancient. Let's listen to the Halo 3 main menu track for a moment. Every time I hear this song, it genuinely brings a tear to my eye. While the main effect of this song is to instill you with a feeling of remembrance, like from the Never Forget marketing campaign, it drives so much nostalgia on top of that. When I hear that track play, it fills me with a sincere sadness that there is nothing more that I can experience from that game. I have played the campaign hundreds of times and made countless memories through it. So to hear that song play as I am now, it racks my heart and reminds me that nothing good stays forever. While I can always go back and enjoy it again, I can't experience it for the first time. Stepping away from the somber tracks, I want to dissect my favorite song from the Halo franchise, Farthest Outpost from Halo 3. Farthest Outpost gives such incredible tone and vibes. Every time I hear it, I know exactly what the location is, I know the situation, and I know what emotions it wants me to feel. The song kicks off with a soft choir rising in and out, ebbing and flowing, as if marveling over some new discovery. Once you grasp that feeling, the song snaps away and brings in a killer drum and cello combo. This is a feeling that tells us, although we're lost, our motives are clear. It's this sense of duty that overwhelms the audience with a clear and concise image created with nothing but strings and drums. Following that section, we're given a strange and ancient drum break made with instruments I've never even heard before. It's short, quiet, and looping, while still building a feeling of mystery and stealth. This of course plays when you land on the Ark and have to engage enemies in a stealthy manner, but that doesn't detract from the fact that this song pushes that idea out to the player, potentially affecting their in-game decision making. The next section carries a similar ancient tone, with tons of plucky strings being added to the mix to help us recognize that this is a journey, or that we're searching for something older than ourselves through ruins. Listen to this and tell me you don't feel like you're wandering through an unknown place. This is just one song among many in the series. I put these songs on when I'm driving to work, thinking to myself, or just when I'm chilling out some afternoons. The music from this series helps me reflect on the experiences I've had in my life, and they all drive emotion in different, unique ways. I could do an analysis of every song in the series, picking apart every individual 4-bar motif and expressing how it makes me feel, but you'll have to comment if that's something you want to see. Halo's music will forever be something I look back onto fondly, from CE's opening suite all the way to Halo Infinite's Through the Trees. When I think of great stories and entertainment, I always think of franchises like Star Wars, Breaking Bad, Attack on Titan, and a number of other things before I get to Halo. Now don't get it twisted, Halo has a great story, but it really isn't up there with some other properties. But the thing about Halo that has me willing to believe that it may be one of the best franchise stories is the heart that it contains. I can't recall another story like Halo's where we have a sort of blank slate protagonist that I can not only relate to, but empathize and feel ingrained with. Master Chief is kind of a dull character when looking at him two-dimensionally, but with consideration for all of the events that take place in the series, because of his actions, you are given a completely different story. Halo is a masterclass in the idea of show, don't tell, where instead of expressly stating every plot point to you directly, they'll give you a visual and it's up to you to interpret its meaning. Sure, there's moments like the infamous
"This cave is not a natural formation. Someone built it, so it must lead somewhere."
Slow down. You're losing me.
but that doesn't set a standard for how Halo conveys ideas to its audience. For example, in Halo Reach, Noble Six's entire character epitomizes the show don't tell idea. After George is killed by the slipspace drive on board the Covenant Corvette, he hands his dog tags to Noble Six, then proceeds to throw him off the ship. Noble Six lands on Reach and begins a journey back to New Alexandria. As he looks out over the war-torn city ahead of him, he recalls why he's continuing forward and shows that he has been carrying George's dog tags in his hand throughout the entire journey. This shows Noble Six's attachment to the other Spartans that he's been alongside for just a short period of time, and increases the depth of the character who says only a handful of words throughout the entire game. You feel the emotions he is feeling in that moment, not as it's told to us, but through your own interpretations of his actions. In that moment, Noble Six is feeling grief for losing a friend, regret for not stopping George, and even maybe fear he may have already lost others. The overarching story of the original Halo trilogy has a ton of nods and themes based in religion. Think about it. The Ark, the Flood, the Covenant, a zealous people searching for the divine beyond by completing a great journey. These are all real-world religious ideals that are being carried into this media and shown in a new fashion. Master Chief is basically Space Jesus, going on a holy crusade. Not that he has any beliefs known to us outside of humanity, but you can imagine that he is following similar ideals to the Forerunners like we see in Halo 4 when he speaks to the Librarian. Outside of the story's allusion, it's just super well written and deeply thought out. There were hidden tidbits about Forerunner history back in Halo CE. Halo 2 showed us the value of having the title Reclaimer, as well as the Covenant Civil War caused by one heretic and guilty spark. And Halo 3 tied it all up by giving us the Ark, which not only builds the rings, but can remotely activate them all at once. At a more surface level view, we also received incredible writing regarding the Gravemind, with his constant display as a sort of anti-villain, jumping from friendly to hostile in seconds across games to get what he wants. The shared connection between the Chief and the Arbiter was based on 9 words and 2 head nods, and the entire Halo community believes they're best buddies, which I also believe. Master Chief and Cortana's incredibly confusing yet entertaining relationship was always a staple to me, since I don't ever want to believe that it was romantic, but rather like an intense appreciation of each other's weaknesses. I'll always believe that Cortana being the more human and Chief being the more machine-like is the bread and butter of why this series is so damn intriguing and appealing. Putting the idea of music and storytelling together is the reason why Halo had such a massive effect on me. Master Chief may seem bland, But without knowing his face and seeing expressions from him and mixing in the music that guides how we should feel in that moment, we start to see a reflection of ourselves within the character. This is what Bungie intended when making Master Chief, as they stated in some behind-the-scenes footage of Combat Evolved. They've been able to orchestrate a fine balance between a cold, badass killing machine with someone who deep down is just another human with all the emotions, with the exception of the whole idea that Spartans get their emotions shut off, but you get the idea. Halo's community is unbelievable. So many pillars of people built what the franchise can reflect on, even to this day. Machinima videos, Forge map creators, the theater mode gurus who made so many classics, and who could forget the Arby and Chief?
Stop being AFK, we need help.
I are sorry.
Dude, you fucking suck, man.
Maybe you should smoke my pole.
I believe that only one group made the biggest impact on the series though, and their work was recognized by Bungie on numerous occasions through Easter eggs, Rooster Teeth, and their creation of Red vs. Blue. Quite possibly the greatest series born from YouTube ever. Red vs. Blue was a comedy series created by Rooster Teeth, initially just made for laughs, but became a phenomenon that led to an expansive story and lore that made its way onto Netflix, airing all seasons of their content to a massive audience. The success of Red vs. Blue really shows the dedication of a community built entirely online, and especially a group as caring and passionate as the Halo fans. There certainly are new franchises that have had intense success and a fan base that are highly dedicated, but I'm willing to believe that Halo's community is one of the biggest and most prominent online communities. Today, Halo gives me solace. It's my safe pick when modern games just aren't hitting right. It's a home away from home. I often find my friends and I talking about the good old days, playing Halo in someone's basement, and all the crazy things we can recall doing within those games. I can't think of another game that helped me feel like I was truly making memories or sharing experiences that weren't only mine. Halo was born from a team of developers with a clear vision to create a cool story with a unique sci-fi style, and what they made was art in motion. Halo made me feel a certain way. Bigger than myself, awestruck, and grounded all at once. Even when the stories or direction didn't hit the same in newer titles, that feeling of wanting to go back in time to replay the series stayed. The music kept it alive for me. Those chants, those sweeping strings, the bright piano notes, they carried the emotion of the franchise long after I stepped away from the games. They reminded me why Halo mattered in the first place. Looking back now, Halo has become a part of my own history. Not because every game was perfect or because I followed every release, but because of who I was in the moments I played it. The people I was around, the things I was going through, the version of myself that needed something to pull me in and make the world feel a little bigger. That's the Halo I carry with me, and that's why it still sticks. Now that I can finally hold that Duke controller in my hands, and I'm looking towards my future, I hope I can share this experience down the line like my dad did for me. I'll forever look back on that photograph and remember it as a catalyst for my love towards Halo.